Hi there, my name's Chantel from RapidStudio, and I want to help you make a beautiful photo book. Whether you've got 5 minutes to spare and you want to make a special gift for a friend, or you're making a legacy album for your family and it's a bit of a more long-term process, I want you to enjoy the project and I want you to know all the features and be able to bring your vision to life with all the features that we have in our album maker. So that's what I'm going to be doing with you today. I'll take you step by step through all the features we have in here, all the tips and tricks, and my hope is at the end of that you're going to be able to produce your book a little bit faster because you're familiar with the tools, and that you're going to enjoy the process more, and that you're going to end up with a really beautiful finished product in the end. If you're looking for help with something particular, you can click on the description box below and you'll see blue hyperlink timestamps with the chapter title, and you can just jump to the thing that you need some help with and I'll meet you there and help you with that thing. Let's jump into it. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to make a beautiful album in 5 minutes using our themed pre-designed albums, shortlisting your pictures first and using the autofill button. Here we are on the RapidStudio homepage, and the first thing we always want to do when we come to our projects is check that we're logged in. That's how RapidStudio knows to save your projects to your profile so you can pick them up later. At the moment, my little man in the corner is invisible, and that means I'm not logged in. So I'm just going to click on him and put in my login details, sign in, and you'll see he goes block color. And that means I'm logged in, and it immediately takes me to my projects page. So if I was busy with something there, I could pick that up again. But today we are doing a photo book in 5 minutes. So I'm going to hover over the photo books and albums, or click on the photo books and albums, and I'm going to scroll down to in my photo book sections to more book designs. And that's going to take me to my themes library, where there's a whole bunch of pre-designed photo book templates in a variety of themes and ideas made by a designer and really beautiful. I'll first concentrate on choosing my design first, but don't forget to come back before you launch your project and choose the size. It defaults to A4, but if you want a different size, just toggle around and click on. If you click on the little thumbnail, you'll get a preview of the cover, and if you want a deeper look at what that might be before you decide to commit to that design, you can just click and scroll through and see if that's something that you like, and click back and carry on scrolling. For the purposes of the exercise today, I'm going to help my niece make a Mother's Day book for her mum. So we're going to click on our blue gum theme and we're going to click create now. All right, here we are with our beautiful blue gum template. I think that's going to look really fantastic. First thing we need to do is get pictures in. I do recommend shortlisting your pictures first. I find the creation process is a bit easier if you do. I have already pre-selected mine with my niece. I'm going to click on New Gallery and give it a name. I'm going to call it Mum and click Create Gallery. I think it'll appear at the bottom. And I'm going to click on that album. And there's nothing in it. We need to upload our images. And there's 2 ways of doing that. I can click the upload button and it's going to give me 2 options. If I click the top button, it's going to take me to the directory on my computer that I tell it to go. And if I hover my camera from my phone over the QR code, it's going to link my phone with all its photos to the RapidStudio software, and I can upload my pictures directly from my phone to the RapidStudio software. I'll show you how to do both of those options. So I'm going to click Select Photos. And this is where we've saved our photos to, and I'm just going to select all of those because I know I want them all in my photo book. And there you go, you see them start to appear. Let me show you the second option quickly. I'm going to grab my phone, click Upload Images, and I'm going to open up the camera on my phone and hover that over the QR code. And you'll see this little yellow link appears on your screen. If you click on it, it connects your photo library on your phone to the RapidStudio software. And now I can choose the pictures on my phone to pop into my gallery on RapidStudio. So now you just follow the prompts on your phone. It's asking you, do you want to upload images and where from? I'm going to choose my photo library. I use my favorites album on my computer to shortlist my pictures so that I know my favorites that I want in my album. And I'm just going to choose one picture as an example to show you. I'm going to click, I could click as many as I want, and then I'm just going to click the add button. and it's busy uploading. And if we scroll down, mixed in with our lovely mum's album, we should be able to see a picture of a gorgeous cat. There he is, and I've just uploaded that directly from my phone. So that's a super nice way to get your pictures into your album. The next thing we're going to do, and this is one of the time-saving tips, especially when you have pre-selected your pictures and you know these are the pictures I want in my album. It's this magical little button up here, the autofill button, this little wand, and keep your eye on this bar along the bottom where most of my pictures are going to appear. You'll see it fills the book really quickly. And click autofill, and there you go. So now it's really just a case of paging through my book and seeing what sort of job the thing did and do I want to change anything. So I'm going to start with my cover, and I might play around with the cover and think, okay, I want a different picture on my cover maybe. So I can choose, just grab my pictures from the left-hand side, drag them across and see if they look better. All these things that I'm showing you, I can zoom in. I'm going to show you those a little bit more slowly later on in the workshop, but for now I'm just showing you something really quick and easy. So I'm going to grab that one, I'm going to zoom in a little, and that looks really nice for my cover. And then I need to change the one on the back because I don't want that repeated. And then, you know what, we might think, I really like this theme, but I don't want it for Mother's Day, I want it for birthday. So you can change any of our themed templates into whatever you want just by changing the text. So now, all of a sudden it's a happy birthday, cool, no worries, and we'll pop my little niece's name in there, Riley. Love Riley, and let's change the front to happy birthday as well. I'm double clicking to change the font, and you can go ahead and make a spine for your book as well if you like. And we love your cuddles. And I might put a picture of us cuddling there. I see something I'm not 100% happy with here. It's a landscape picture in a portrait frame. So I'd either choose a portrait picture or one that could trim nicely. So I'm going to swap that one out there and put this one back in of everybody playing together. And that looks really nice. I think you get the gist. Repeating all those steps until your pages are finished. And then the last thing you want to do before you print your book is you want to press this little play button up here in the corner. It's the preview screen, and it just gets rid of all the busyness from your screen and allows you to preview your book and see that everything is perfect. So here you're going to check the spellings correct, and I can see a mistake already. Happy birthday day. I'm going to go in and fix that. So I'm making a note to myself to fix the front cover, and I'm just going to scroll through and see that I'm happy with how my book turned out in the end. Everything's spelt correctly, everything's centered nicely, there's even amount of spaces here and there, and I'm done. And when you're ready to order, this little blue button in the top right corner, if you click on that, it'll take you straight to your shopping cart. And here's your shopping cart. You can change the number of books that you want to order, and you can enter a voucher number if you have one, and double check that your design is correct and proceed to checkout. Congratulations! You already know a whole bunch about making photo books. Themes are definitely our fastest way to make photo books, and if you've already pre-selected your photos and you use the autofill button, you can see how a lot of the timeliness is taken away. And you also know how to upload your pictures from your computer or your phone. Now I'm going to be breaking down the steps and taking it a little bit slower. Don't forget to use the chapter titles in the description box below if you want to skip past something and get to the stuff that you need some help with. So you want to make a photo book. Where on the RapidStudio website do you find what you're looking for? If you want to make a photo book, you click on the Photobooks tab, and it'll give you the options for all the books, hardcover, ultimates, and soft covers, and a few other products that we have. You can also click the Browse All button, and that will show you a little reference of each of the photo books we create. Hardcover photo books are our most popular. They're long wearing and beautiful. Ultimate albums level it up for something really special, and there's also our soft covers. Another great place to look on our websites is the Gifts and Occasions tab. If you're looking for a gift for a teacher or for a mom or a dad, I love using the Christmas gifts idea all year round. because it's divided into for her, teens, gifts under 100 Rand, teachers, and you can just click to that section and we've curated the most suitable gifts for that audience, and I find that's really helpful for me when I want a quick solution for gift giving. There's loads of great things to see on the RapidStudio website, so have a browse around and have a look at our canvases, personalized gifts, and our stationery. But we're Photobook focused today, so we are going to click here. And remember, you have two choices. Either our pre-designed themes album, which I've already shown you find here, or you can use our recommended layout, which you find here. The way I describe our recommended layout is it's simplistic, minimalistic, and really makes your photos the hero of the book. It doesn't come pre-designed with any colors or clip art or anything like that, but it allows you the functionality to add all of those things in. So there's loads of clip art folders with artwork in it, very similar to what you find in the themed albums, that you can build that up and create it yourself. So I'm going to teach you from this layout today, because once you know how to use this, you'll be able to create anything. So when you click here, you only need to make one choice, and that is what size photo book you want to make. And you need to make that carefully, because after you start the design process, you can't convert to another size. So have a look at the sizes, choose which one you want, and then you can choose your cover type, but you don't need to. Just on the point of cover types, let me show you a few examples from my library. This is the normal printed hardcover photo book. It's got beautiful personalized design, front and back spine. If you want to elevate your book a little bit, still keeping in this hardcover range, you can upgrade your cover. And there's a few options that include a combination of leather or leather only, plus a personalized picture. And the personalized picture that you put on the front is, I'm not sure if I can get it to catch the light, but it's made with a special paper that is very hard wearing and can withstand touch through the years. It can be wiped to be cleaned, and it's just going to be durable and really elevate the look of your album. Another point is about pricing, and we always want you to have a handle on your pricing. So any changes you make here as you make your decision on what you want to make, this little price will update automatically. So let's go from a printed hardcover here to a semi-personalized, and just keep your eye there and see the price change. So there you go, and you know exactly up front how much things are going to cost. And also I'll show you when we get inside the editor how any changes you make that might affect your costs will be updated automatically in your window, so you can always have a handle on your costs. Click Create now to launch the editor. And welcome to the RapidStudio Album Maker or Editor. I'm going to give you a quick navigation of the page so you know where you are. The photo book opens with 24 pages. That's our standard minimum photo book. And it opens with layouts here along the bottom that it's chosen. They're a nice collection that goes together. You can use them or you can change the layouts. I'm going to show you how to do that. On the left-hand side here is your pictures and where you will load your pictures to use in your different albums. It's also where we put our clip art folders. This middle space here is obviously your work area where you're going to be busy creating your photo book. This vertical navigation bar over here is very important. It allows you to make changes like editing your image, adding text, changing your layout, adding a background, or options. Now your options are going to be different whether you're clicked on your cover or whether you're clicked on your pages, because you get different options in cover and pages. This is the little price bar that I was telling about you earlier, where you make any changes to your book that affects your price, it updates live and you always have a great handle on costs. So I'm going to press the add page button. Just keep your eye up there on costs. I'm going to add 2 pages. It goes from $5.49 to $5.89. So that's really nice. You always have a grip on what your book is going to cost. And this little button over here is your undo button. It's my friend. You can always play around with things. Don't be scared to experiment with something, because if you don't like it, you can just click the undo button. All right, let's dive into it. Now, I'm going to skip showing you how to upload your album from your computer or from your phone, because I already showed you very quickly in the previous example. Use the chapter titles to skip to that. And I'm going to start with how to make your cover. To make your cover, you want to make sure you're clicked on the cover page, the first one, and make sure that you're clicked on options, and that'll bring up the options for the cover page. This is where you would choose your cover type. So we already chose a printed hardcover, but this is where you would upgrade to a different type, like semi-personalized with the 3/4 leather. but we don't want that today. This is what I want to show you. RapidStudio's made it real easy for you by giving you 3 pre-designed cover options. I'm going to pop a picture in there so you can see how it'll look. Option 1 has a beautiful white border around the edge and place to put your book title. Let's write some words in there first. You might delete the subtitle if you don't want a subtitle, but let's just put it in there for now. And let's press the preview button. The preview button's a real good friend because it allows you to see so easily. So you can see this nice even white border. It's got space for your title. That's option 1. Option 2, we'll make sure we clicked on options for the cover. Option 2 is a full bleed to the edge, and this has got the text right align, but you can change the positioning of that. So all the picture spills off the edge. That looks really nice. And then option 3 is full bleed. So full bleed, front, back, looks pretty beautiful. And it's the same in our themed albums. Clicking on options, option 1, option 2, full bleed, and option 3. We really encourage you to use these layout options as we've created them, because making a cover is quite technical from the printing end of things. For example, if you do a photo with a full bleed, a cover with a full bleed, we need to steal quite a bit extra of your picture to wrap around the edges to finish off the book. So to go, around the edge of your book and wrap around and finish it off, tuck it in, glue it in, make it really nice. And all the frames, everything on this book is set up so that everything's centered. Like, for example, something you don't want to end up with is having uneven spaces on the top, right, and left sides of your books. When you're using our pre-designed option 1, 2, and 3, everything on that is set up to be technically perfect. The spaces are going to be even. It's going to look really great. Cover design problems can be avoided by understanding the red and green guidelines on the album maker we've drawn in that are there to help guide you. Namely, the safe area, that's that green line all around the edges of the cover design here, and it goes inside here. And that's a guideline that says keep everything important inside these green lines and use them to create even borders if you want borders on your book. And then there's the bleed line, and the bleed line means if you want your images to bleed off the page, run off the page smoothly and not appear like this, if this book was printed, there would be an ugly white line that just doesn't finish off this book nicely because the image provided doesn't go all the way to the bleed line. So it's going to look beautiful on this side, because you can see the picture comes all the way up to the bleed line. But here, the person has stopped the artwork just before the bleed line, and it's going to be a really disappointing result because you're going to have this beautiful image with beautiful title and artwork, and you're going to have this irritating white line that really just doesn't finish it off your book nicely. So to avoid annoying thin wispy white borders around the edge of your book, to have a full bleed option, you're going to carry your image all the way to the edge of that red bleed line. So let's do that together. We'll click on the image. You can see this is where the picture comes up now. I'm going to give it to the bleed line. Over here, it was given past the bleed line, and that's great. Anything past the bleed line is perfect. So let's leave that there. I'm going to take it over to the spine over here and all the way down to the bleed line there. If you want to be doubly sure, you can even go to that gray line. That even gives us a little bit extra, and that's handy too. So now I'm going to reposition my picture within the thing, and I'm going to do exactly the same on here. I'm going to go here and all the way to the spine line. And that is going to be a very nice book. Conversely, if you want a white edge around your a nice crisp border, design to the green line, the safe area. That green line there, I'm just going to pick up. The software helps you a little bit. It snaps to that green line and just makes it easy for you to land on the right place. It almost like wants to help you land on the right place, either the red line, the green line, or into that gray area past. And there we go. Let's have a look at that. That's going to be a beautiful book with an even, crisp, beautiful white border. It's not going to be uneven. It's going to be super nice. So to recap, if you want bleed, go all the way to the red line or past it. If you want a nice even border, use the green line because that will make sure it's measured nicely and evenly. I will add to that in the same vein, paying attention to the bleed lines and the green safe area. If you want to add a title, you're going to want to make sure you have nice contrast between the background and your text. And we're going to pop in our text. You are always going to make sure all of your text and all of your really important features are inside that green area. You can use this preview button to see how it's looking. I'd say that's a little bit too close to the edge. Let's move it in a bit just to give your design room to breathe. Let's have a look at that again now. I'd even move it down a little bit more. But my text and my people are well within the safe areas, and that is what is going to give me a good design. Of lesser importance, but still handy to know, is the fold line. Here it is here. You see the bright picture, that is my cover picture, and then it's opaque at the edges. So there's my bleed line. That's the extra bit of your book I'm going to steal to finish off the book nicely. And this opaque line here shows where the fold line is on the cover. So if I press the preview button, I'm going to see it very clearly. There it is there. So this bright part of the picture is how your cover is going to look, and here is where the paper is going to be folded over the edge and wrapped around and glued on the other side of the photo book to finish off the book nicely. Let me show you what I mean by that. Here's a photo book I made, and you can see around the edges here, see the grayed outline where I have the picture bleeding off the edge of the book. This sharp area here showing my picture in full view is going to be the facade, and this edge here is going to be the extra bit RapidStudio needs of my picture to take and wrap around the edge of my book so that they can finish off the book nicely. Here it is in print, and if I open up the book, you'll see the little bit that I'm talking about here. That's my picture wrapped around the edge to finish off the book nicely. Obviously, what the fold line is clearly showing me now is that this photo isn't great for the cover because important people's faces are going to get cut off. And if I look back on my editor, I can see the safe area hasn't been observed and my very beloved people are outside the safe area, and that's not going to look nice. So how do I fix it? Well, for this one, I could simply design the lines back to the safe area and give it a nice clean border. It's going to have a crisp white edge around it, and I'm going to use the green line for the safe area to make sure that my lines are even, and I'm going to end up with a nice even border around the edge. I'm going to move my text well inside the safe area and make that look nice. Let's press preview and see how that's looking, and that's really nice now. Nobody's being chopped off. Now that we have a beautiful cover, let's dive into the page design, and let's start with a little basic image editing. So I'm just going to autofill my book with my pictures, and let's click on the pictures and look at some of our options with editing them. Okay, so one thing we commonly want to do is to be able to zoom in on a picture. If I click on the picture and I just click my zoom button here, I can zoom in, and when I have compass on compass, see I've got a hand tool here. When I've got the two compasses on top of each other, I can now manipulate that image within the placeholder. So let's put it there. If I use the hand tool, I'm allowed to pull the whole image to somewhere different. I don't want to because it's been designed perfectly. I'm just going to click the undo button to get it lined up so that the gaps between all the pictures are going to be the same. Let's try that again over here. I'm going to click on my image. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to recenter it within the image, and that looks really nice. While we're in the image editor, let's look at some of the other features together. I'm going to show you how to do borders later, but one thing we can do is we can flip the picture. Sometimes we want it to face another way, so we can flip it. Oops, not vertically. We want to flip that one horizontally. Just click it again to let it go. You can change it to black and white or sepia. You can change the opacity of a picture to make it see-through. Sometimes that's an idea when you want to use a picture as a background. I'll show you that later. And you can change the rotation of your picture there, or you can grab this little tool here. I'm going to click undo because I want to keep the designs that the designer made on this page. When you zoom on a picture and it comes up with a warning, see that? And this is a general rule to apply anywhere in your book. Where you see red text or this yellow exclamation mark, the red text disappears after it's given you a chance to read it, but I find it's really fast. So if you need more time, click on the yellow exclamation mark and you can read it again. So this says image resolution is lower than required for high quality printing. To optimize print quality, try zooming out or reducing the size of your image area or using an image with high resolution. So I have zoomed into this picture so much now that it's becoming pixelated. So I'm going to want to drop that back until that yellow exclamation mark disappears. There we go. And now I know the image resolution is okay and it's going to print nicely. The software is very important. It's going to warn you of things. And this is really important when you're using pictures that have been WhatsApped to you because they often shrunk for that sending process, and they can still be used. In that case, you would just make the image holder smaller because you can't get more resolution from your picture. And when you make the image smaller, that picture until that exclamation mark disappears. So pay attention to those exclamation marks all over. They appear in text boxes all over the place and they're warning you about something important about your design. Now let's figure out how to change the layout of the page. Layouts are really easy. You find them here. If you click here, they're organized into 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 plus images per page. So if you want a dense photo book with lots of pictures per page, you're going to go to our 5 plus and scroll through all those. The other thing is they're organized into bleed pages and not bleed pages. Now, if your eyesight's not 100% good like mine, it's going to be a bit hard to see from this thumbnail, but you can see there's a little white line there, and these ones don't have that. So those pages are going to bleed all the way to the edge. I'll show you some examples here in the book now. There is a white bordered page, and this one's a bleed. And I think it's perfectly okay to mix and match white border with bleed pages. So they're the key principles. All you do if you want to change the layout of your page is make sure you clicked on the page you want to change. This is page 8, and you can see I've clicked on it because it's got a blue highlight around it. And all you have to do is click the page layout that you want, and there you go. Then you just add the pictures to fill it up and make it how you want. So you don't need to move or delete anything. You just literally make sure it's selected and click the one you want. Now for our first page, we've got a lovely family photo, and then for the next page, I want to do a bit of a family intro. So there's 4 kids in this family, so I'm going to go to 4 images, and I'm going to choose a layout that I like, and then I'm just going to pop in the children. And then over this side, I think I want selected layouts. I think I want a picture of the mum and dad. And there you go. That's a really nice page. It's got everybody. I think I would actually do a full bleed over this side. So I'm going to change that to layout 1 and choose the full bleed. And I think that looks better. So there you go. You are just going to move through your book, choosing the different layouts that you want and creating your book. Something that is a little handy for me to show you is a double page spread that can look really nice. Double page spread is a 1 image per page. It's actually 1 image across 2 pages, and it's this red one over here. So I've clicked on the left hand side. You should be clicked on there, and I'm going to click on that. And it's got a little message to me. This is a double page spread. Only use it on even number page, which we're on. Please delete this warning. Okay, so I've got it. Now what you want to be careful with double page spreads is you never want to do this, chop somebody's head off in the middle. Even if you have lay flat pages, it's not nice to chop a person's head in half. And if you have silk pages, which I'm going to share a little bit of information about that soon, you will definitely lose a bit of the face in the spine, and you wouldn't want that. So you're going to want to carefully choose a picture for your double page spread. I'll show you a couple of examples that work and some that don't. Let's grab this picture and we're going to put it on the even numbered page. Okay, this one's not going to work because we've got somebody's face in the middle. Let's grab this one. Let's see if we zoom in how that looks. That looks really nice with the reflection. Could we make this one work? Okay, we don't want to chop off anybody's heads in the reflection. We want to make sure all those heads are in the safe area. So we're going to go back a little bit, and we don't have anybody in the middle. So that could look, it's got a little bit too much space this side for my liking. So let's keep looking. And I think this would look really nice. This is, yeah, got that nice space in the middle. It's filling up the page nicely. And lastly, let's see if we can see if this one works. I actually really like this one. It's got a lot of emotion. I like the contrast between the close-up and the far away. And I think that's cool. These work really well also for landscape backgrounds. Like if you're on holiday and there's a beautiful mountain scene, you can put the mountain scene behind, and then you can build on top of it with image boxes and place images, you know, of the people who you shared your holiday with over the top of it. And that can also look good. Obviously not with this example. This is a bad example that I'm using now. But that can look really nice for flowers and gardens and mountains and oceans and things like that. Some of us like to put captions on our pictures, especially, you know, if it's a holiday album. So here are the captions. They just come pre-designed with a space for the caption in there. So I'm going to choose that one, and I double click and it just opens up the textbook, and I can add the name of each child under the box. I won't do them all, you get the point. And there you go. They're already made for you, easy to go. You can also make your own captions on your own pictures. Let's go back where we didn't have the caption boxes. You would just need to make some room from it. So I might zoom in so I can see this a little bit better. And I would move my picture up a little bit. I would add a text box. I would put it in there, and I would line it up with the photo so that it comes up there. Double click. And do that, and there you go. I've added my own text box. Let's unzoom and have a look at that. And obviously for this one, I'd make it the same distance, and I use those blue lines that I showed you earlier to line up and make sure that everything lines up. Boom, there's my blue line. Add my text box. I probably could actually copy and paste this text box copy, Control V. It's sitting on top. I'm going to grab the little hand, move it across. And you see it's exactly the same length as that one because this has been professionally designed. And everything lines up. And double click on it to change the name. That's another way you can add your caption. Another thing you might like to do is add text, like a diary entry. You're traveling and you went to see the Tower of London. So we have layouts that already have text formatted for you. Here's the options. This might be a nice example for a diary entry. So it's got a heading, which is a different size font to the body. See that? It's got the same font. It's size 16 and it's size 12 for the writing bit. Let's just get rid of that caption we wrote on earlier. And you can go ahead and you might put that up as a heading. And then to write my body text, I've already written it in a Word document that I was keeping while I was traveling. And I'm going to delete what's there, Control V. And that's my diary entry of our day in central London. And I've got a warning. It says not all your text is visible in the text box. Try increasing the size of the text box. It's disappeared. I haven't finished reading it. You can just get it back by clicking the exclamation marks. Try increasing the size of the text box or reducing the font size. Okay, so I can increase the text box size a little. So let's see if that makes the little warning disappear. No, it's still there. And I'm on size font 12, so let's have a preview and see how that's looking. I don't really want to change my font size, so what I would do in this case is I would make my diary entry here shorter and put it to another page. So I'm going to cut off from in the afternoon. So I'm going to double click on my text box and go to in the afternoon, and I'm just going to select all of that and delete that or cut it so I can use it on the next page. And there we go, that's looking really nice. So that's how you can quickly and easily add a text box for words that you want to include in your photo book. You don't have to use our text layout over here. You can also add your own. If you want the heading to be a different size font to the body, then you just need to add 2 boxes. So let's do that. We're going to add a text box, go to our safe area, that's going to be my heading, and I'm going to make that size 16 font. And what font do I like? Let's go American typewriter, and then add text box, and underneath this is going to be my body text. I'm going to make that 12, and I'm going to also make that American typewriter. And there's my text boxes ready to go. Let's pop some font in. You get the gist. Same rules that I showed you on the cover page for changing the font color. I think you guys have got that by now. Click there. Let's choose a nice electric blue. And there we go. If you guys want a layout that's not there, you've clicked on the options, you can't see the one that you want, what I recommend you do is design your new layout from these grids. This one has borders, this one doesn't. The reason being is all the line and spacing in between here is even on these grids. Whereas if you were to freewheel, let me show you an example of that. I've deleted everything on the page, and now I'm going to add my placeholders. I can do that, but how am I going to make sure there is continuity in my spacing? So I can make sure all of these are the same space by looking at these measurements. I can make them all 50 centimeters high, 50 millimeters, sorry, by adjusting until I see that number of 50 millimeters for the height be the same on all of that. So that's a nice feature that I can use. I could also get the size that I want and copy it. So I'm going to click on it, Control Copy, Control V, and then I've got this exactly the same size placeholder. But my question to you is, how are you going to make sure the spaces in between here are the same? And maybe it doesn't matter to you, but it is a good general design principle that the spaces are even between the gaps. So that's the bit of the trick. Whereas if you're creating something similar with the grid, it's going to use the blue lines to help you line up with something existing on the page. So I can create that same effect with those longer ones, and then I want maybe a bigger one. I'm going to delete all of these, and I'm going to drag that one to the edge because this is a bleed page. And there you go. I've made one from my grid, but because I've used the grid, all these spaces are going to be the same. So that's nice. Or if you're feeling confident, you can design it yourself. Maybe just use the zoom button close towards the end to try and use your eye to check that the spaces in between the photos are all even, if that's important to you. You guys have already seen me do a lot of work on text, but to edit text, first of all, you need to create a place for your text. So here's your text box creator above there, and we're going to click on it, and it's just going to plonk it in the middle of your page. And if you want it centered underneath your photo, you're going to drag it out to the edges, line it up with your photo using those blue lines to tell you you've lined up with something, and click the center button. And then we're going to bring it obviously into the safe area because we don't want any text ever going outside that green safe line. And now we're going to choose our font. So to do that, well, let's add our text first. By the way, I double clicked on that text box to be able to open it and edit it. And you're going to go over here. We're already in text box, so the clever editor knows you're in the edit text features, and you can align it differently. Here's where you can choose your fonts. So I'm just going to grab something there. There it is, and I can change my font size over here. The font sizes here are very similar to what you get in Microsoft Word. I'm going to move that down a little bit away from my picture so that I get a nice gap. And let's click the preview button and see how that's looking. Not bad. I could play around with my fonts and I could choose something else and just play until I'm happy with the font that I've chosen. Next, I'm going to change the color of my font, and to do that, and it doesn't matter what you're changing, color works the same, whether it's borders and things, backgrounds, you're going to click the color function and you get your color wheel. You're going to choose, put this little pin somewhere on the color wheel where you feel is close to the color you want. It's getting a little preview down there, and then you can add more black to make it darker or more white to make it lighter. So in this image, it's like nice beachy browns, or the mum's wearing a nice blue dress. So I might go around until I get on something that's similar to the mom's dress in this picture. I might be like to match it up to that. And I'll click OK, and there we go. Or I could try and get a nice beachy brown. We're going to go down over here to the red, yellows and browns. Let's add a little bit more. There we go. Now, when I go to use this font color again, the software is going to remember it. So let's go to our next page and let's add a space for font. Let's do the same things again. And I'm going to click on my font color there, and there you go. It's remembered the color that I had chosen for my previous page. Because remember, less is more in our books. We want to choose a palette of complementary colors. Maybe I'd choose that gold and this blue for this book, and then I would sort of limit my color choices and keep repeating the ones that have been suggested to me in my suggested colors, because it's remembered the colors that I'm using. Let's add some borders to our picture. To do that, you're going to click on the image edit button, and here is your border width. So you're just going to slide it up until you get to a width that you like. I usually do mine pretty thin, around 175. And the thing to be careful here is when you're putting a border on everything, you already have quite a small gap between these pictures here, and you don't want to make it look too crowded. So there we go, I've added my border. Let's press the play button to get a nice look, and that looks pretty good. I wouldn't put a border on this because this is a bleed image, so this page looks nice. I could change the color of my border if I wanted to. Let me show you how to do that. It should remember the color from our font earlier. There it is, and we just click it across for every picture. And let's press play, and that looks really nice. I can also curve the edges of my picture. If I click on it and I click border radius, I can choose a sort of curvature on the edge. Pay attention to that number, because whatever you put on one, you're probably going to want to put on all. Remember, less is more, and so on. And if you want a circle, all you have to do is make sure your image holder is a square. So I'm going to go down to 136 and match up my diameters and put it in the middle. See, that blue line tells me it's in the middle, and then I'm going to drop my radius all the way up, and then I've made a circle. You can also do an oval. Let's have a look at how that circle's looking. And an oval is obviously when I extend it back into a rectangle, pop it in the middle, and there you go. You can also add borders on your cover. For example, if I didn't do a full bleed cover on this cover, and I used the safe area to make sure my lines were even, I could pop my cover on my border onto the cover picture and choose my gold picture, and I might move that in now. The proportions are a little bit different, and that can also look nice. Let's press play, and that also looks really nice. Just be careful when you are using borders on the cover. Make sure you keep all the borders inside the safe area, and you leave space between the different pictures. If you have a collage of pictures, you don't want to run those borders right up to the edge, because they might get cut or they might end up being uneven. So make sure if you are doing borders on your main cover that you use that safe area and you line your border up perfectly with the safe area to give a nice even margin. If you didn't want the border to be white, if you wanted an even colored border around, you could change your background color to match the border that you put on. So I'm going to click on this little button for backgrounds, and look, it's already remembered my color that I've been using throughout my book already. But if it didn't appear there, you could just click add color and there it would be there. Save background, and now it's turned my background to the same color, and you're going to get this nice beachy brown mustard golden color as your background. Let me show you that background feature in a few other pages. So say you wanted a background on this first page, just going to click on it and add your color. Now my text has disappeared because it was the same color, but if I click the text box and change my color to something else, I can drop it all the way back to make it white. There's enough contrast there to see it as contrasting, and that looks quite nice. You've got a few options with backgrounds. As I've shown you, your background can be just a color, or you can choose these background themes. So you can choose Africa print. We actually need to grow this library a little bit. There isn't a huge range of backgrounds here at the moment, but depending on what you're making, some of them can look really nice and jazz up your book a little bit. The other thing you can do as a background is use a picture as a background. Like I was saying with an example earlier, this looks best with a landscape scene, not with people, but I would click on this one and I would choose a bleed image, so it goes all the way to the edge, and then I would click on it to edit the picture, and I would drop the opacity back to fade it out a bit, and then I would build my pictures that I wanted on top. So if that was sort of a nice flower picture you took or something, you might put that as a background and then build some pictures of the people you shared your holiday with over the top. If you want to add some clip art to your book, our clip art folders are stored here, and they're all organized in themes, so you can just read through and flick through and see what you want. I think there's some nice love ones that would match this book, so you just click and drag it across. The thing to remember with clip art is that it's been professionally made in the right proportions, so never stretch it from the corners or the sides. We'll use our magical undo button to forgive our sins there. You always stretch it from the corner, and then it'll keep the proportions that the clever designer made it with, and put it somewhere that makes sense and looks nice. Maybe you'll add a love heart to that, and maybe we'll tilt the love heart and resize it a little. You can play around and find something that works for you and the clip art. Just make sure wherever you put it, you make space for the clip art, and resize from the corner, move it around, make sure you keep it in the safe area, and have fun with it. Now I want to show you guys masks. Click on an image and go down here to mask, click select, and I really like this one, especially on beachy pictures like this. It just scratches in the edges of your picture. Let's put it on both pictures so I can show you. Let's press play so you can see how that mask looks. It's just a nice effect. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. And there's a few masks to choose from. These faded ones look good if you're doing an old-fashioned book where you're scanning old pictures. It enhances the fading on the pictures and just makes it look nice. And some funny, quirky things. Maybe you like them, maybe you don't, but that's masks. Now you know. Okay, we've changed artwork now, so I can show you the Organize tool button, which is here. It's called Organize Pages, and if you click on it, it gives you like a little map of your book. Now, this was a project I made for my granddaughter documenting her first year of life, and as you can imagine, it's a big project, and as I design it here and there, you might find with your book that you want to change the order of the pages that you created that in. That's really easy. You just pick up the page you want to move and see the blue line appear. It moves it to that place. Pick it up, move it to wherever you want it to move to. Another thing I found is I really liked some of my pages, and because I had 153 pages in this book, I could duplicate my designs and modify it slightly and save myself design time. So for example, I might find that I liked this design for a month of the year. So let's have a look at it. There it is, cute design. I want to use that again in October. So in my Organize Pages button, I'm going to click on it, and I know I've clicked on it because it's got a blue line around it, and I'm going to click duplicate page. Now it's appearing side by side now, and now I'm going to take it to where October is. Let's say it's there, and I know it's on page 130 that I need to go and change my artwork there. I would just make sure I remember to go in and change the artwork and the clip art to the appropriate thing. Here's another page layout I made that I really liked with the little love hearts trailing up the page, and I found I could duplicate the page and swap out the animal and have my design ready to go for another set of pages. So there it is, and I click duplicate page, and it's appeared down here. Now I can go and swap out my little animal for something else that's kind of cute. Like that. Similarly, if there's a page I don't like anymore, I can just easily delete it from this page. If you ever wanted to just copy one page and use that design somewhere else, you can click on anything on the page, click Control A, it's selected everything on the page, click Control Copy, and then go to the page where you want to add that design. Delete everything on the page. Make sure you start with an empty page. I've got an empty page now. Click Control V or Control Paste, and there you go. Now I would obviously change my pictures. I don't want to repeat the pictures, but I have saved that one page of design and moved it somewhere else, whereas with the organized pages, you move 2 pages at a time. Another nice to know is if you like elements on your page and you want to copy them somewhere else, you can just hold Shift and click on the elements you want to move, and then you can move them together. They're all selected, so I can press Control Copy, and I can put them somewhere else. And they're still selected together, so as long as they're all clicked, I can click them all together, and when I click away, I can move individual parts. We're almost done, guys. There are 2 more things I want to show you. I want to show you the share button and the duplicate button. Here's how you would use them. A good example where the duplicate project button can be handy is when you want to do the same version of the book with slightly different variations. And weddings are good examples of that because the bride and groom have the bride side of the family who will want more of their family pictures in their version of the wedding album, and the groom will have more of his family pictures on his version of the wedding album. But once I've gone and made the base design of the wedding album, I can then duplicate the album and then slightly modify some pages to have more side of one family than the other. This is how you do it. Here we are in my projects folder, and here's my project. See this little button here, copy project? I just click on that, and now the projects appear side by side. Rename them so that I don't get the family mixed up. So there we've got the Smith and the Joneses, and now I know that I can modify those projects so easily and save time keeping the base design of my book. The share button, here it is here, is handy when I want to do 2 things, maybe more. Either preview my book with who I made it for before I print it, just to check that they're happy with how it looks and if they want to change anything. Or if I want to collaborate with someone and make a book with them. So I might make half of a book for my mum with my sister. So I'll do my half and then I'll share it with her for her to carry on and working on her half. So this is how you do it. You just click this share project button, and now it's copied to the clipboard, and it's somewhere where I can paste it now, say into an email. I can WhatsApp it to her. Let's do that. So I'm in my email. I've written an email to my friend, and now I'm going to just click Control V. And that is pasted the link. And when my friend clicks on that link, it's going to go to a preview. Let me show you how that looks. This is how it's going to look on her side. That little link is going to open a little web page, and she can then scroll through. And if she wanted to change something on this page, she could just take a note of the page and write to you and say, swap out the picture on page 6 from X. And then the other reason I might want to share my project is I might be making something for my mum with my sister. Say we're making my mum a calendar. I've started the design, I've done the title and a couple of months, and then there's some gaps left for my sister to fill up pictures with her family. So I'm going to save and exit. And at my projects folder here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to share project. I'm going to pop it in an email to her. So there I've written an email to her, I've popped the link in, and again, when she sees the link, she's going to see this. She can scroll through the album like I showed you in the previous example, but what she's going to want to do here is click Save Copy. And if she's got a RapidStudio account, she might need to create one. It's going to come into her account. The only thing to remember here is that when your sister works on it, she is going to have the master copy. And if you're going to be the one to print it, she's going to have to share it back to you doing the same process. Clicking the share button, taking that link, popping it in an email, sending it back to you, and you're going to save it to your projects. And make sure you delete old versions or rename them so you don't lose track of which is the master copy. Guys, with all your projects, when you're finished and you're ready to order, just press this play and preview button and look carefully through your book before you order. You're going to look at every detail, spelling, centering. You're going to understand that anything in this gray area is either fold or bleed, and it's going to get cut off or part of the production process. If you see anything you want to fix, you're just going to take a note of the page you see it on and write down the thing that you want to change. And you're really going to look carefully through that. Make sure you're perfectly happy with how it looks. And then when you're ready to print, just press the blue or ready to order or put it in your shopping cart. Just press the blue shopping cart button. If you see this warning come up, unedited placeholders, it means there's a placeholder, maybe a picture box sitting under one of your existing frames that it's just giving you a warning sign. It won't print it if it's sitting under, but just that's why it's important to page through your book and you'll see something. If there's a placeholder showing or visible somewhere, you'll see it. So that's why the preview is so important. So we're going to click Add to Cart. If you looked carefully and you're happy there's nothing affecting your artwork, you can click Continue. And then here from your shopping cart, you can change the number of quantities of your book that you want. Just by adding the plus or minus button. You can continue shopping if you haven't finished making all the things you want to yet. You can just click My Projects and go and add more things, or click up here and go and create some more and leave it in your shopping cart. If you have a voucher code, you pop it in there and just confirm that your design is correct and then proceed to checkout. And then from here, guys, we just need to know if you're going to have it delivered to your door, the Pargo near you, or picked up, and just follow the prompts. The system's quite particular how it wants your suburb. You're going to type in your suburb first and choose the appropriate option for you. And just fill out all the details for your order. Once you've checked your details are correct, you can click to our secure payment gateway. And that's going to take you away from our website to our payment partner, where you can choose your payment method and securely transact. And that's it. That should give you enough skills to make a really beautiful photo book. But if you're still confused about anything, please don't hesitate to contact our support team. I'll put our email and our telephone number on the next screen. Good luck with your project.